Hey, it's Nay, and welcome to Hey Nay. So, the topic for today is engaged and dating. Um, Now, I would have loved to actually have someone who's engaged on here because that would have probably given you a lot more perspective. I myself have never been engaged, but I have read a few things, and I do know people who have been engaged and sort of what that process is like. So, you're kind of getting it from my point of view with a little bit of research and insight involved. Okay, but there's only one question. So the question is, um, what do you do different now that you're engaged? And I believe there are about 7 different things I believe you should do differently. Okay, so one is parents. So if you have not introduced your significant other to your parents, it is very pertinent that you do that now. That is very, very important. And it's not even just introducing them, is that they have a relationship of some shape or form. Like, your parents should know your significant other's name and what they do and what they like and just general things about them. They should have seen that person on multiple occasions. Um, so definitely keep that in mind. The second thing I would say is also make sure that important people who are in your life, that your significant other knows that. Your significant other knows who those people are and what they mean to you. So if they have not met the people that you value the most, they should. They should know that so that they can find that importance in them too. So I know some people have like very, very close friends, but friends that they may not necessarily see all the time. You may want to try to get a way for your significant other to be excuse me, your fiance. Let's use the proper term right here. Your fiance to see that important person. So that can be a friend, that could be your cousin or your aunt or teacher, a former boss, a former employee, just someone, that person who's very, very important to you. Or it could be multiple people. You need to make sure that your fiance knows who that person is and what that means. You know what I mean? Sometimes we value these people for very, very intimate and serious reasons, and your fiance should be privy to that information. So it's a lot of time. That's where you start getting more into the disclosure part. A lot of disclosure comes when you go from just dating to being engaged. Three, money. So this is very important. So you need to have a discussion about money. You need to know how much your fiance is making. And you need to disclose how much you're making to your fiance. That needs to be a thing. I heard, um, I heard from this money expert. I can't remember her name right now, but she said something that was very, very important. Um, and she said that, and she also specializes in divorce too. But not to say that she's implying that everyone may lead to divorce, but it's just that she specializes in divorce. So she has, these are things that she believes people should have in place, just for any relationship, for security. And she says that everyone should have a joint account as well as their own separate account. And that when it comes to buying things, things are allocated according to each account. So if you are buying a massage for yourself, or you're getting, golf clubs, or you know or you want to go get a haircut or your nails done or whatever, that will come out of your personal account. But when it comes to um, groceries, or um, buying a dining table or things like that, that comes out of the joint account. How much money goes into that joint account is dependent on you and your fiance. So the suggestion was that if one of you is making a lot more money, that person would contribute more, but it's all up to you. It's all up to how you and your fiance would like to do it. But that's a suggestion. So if someone is making like, you know, if someone's making $100,000 a year, they may be contributing maybe about, 75% of the joint account versus, someone else who only be making maybe 30,000 who would be contributing about 25% or something like that. The numbers are not perfect, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Okay? So that's very, very important. And don't think of it as, don't think as a formality. Just think about it as like you're investing into your future. You know what I mean? You're investing into your future with this person, and you want to make sure everything goes okay. And that at the end of the day, you and your fiance are okay. So that's just like the main point of it. So for those of you who don't know your fiance's credit score, you probably should know that. I would hope you probably know that before. But it's just something that you have to exchange. You have to just have that type of dialogue. The fourth thing is living. So where are you going to live? You have to have that conversation. Are you guys going to, because you don't want to be married and be living in a family's, a family's home, or living with friends. You don't really want to do that. You want to at least be making strides towards having your own place. It can be an apartment, it can be a house, but you have to have that discussion about which you prefer. What location, what state, where is this going to be? Are you guys going to, and especially if you're a little bit older, you may have your own place. So is that person going to officially move in, or are you guys going to find your own place together? Those are the type of conversation that you need to have. As well as, if you're going for a house, how many rooms do you need? Can you actually afford the house? Can you afford the mortgage? Things like that. And then you have to think about a whole bunch of things in advance. You know what I mean? If you intend on, building a big family, you have to think about all those other things. And that goes into the next one, which is children. So, if you don't know how many kids your fiance wants to have, you should have that conversation. It's okay if the two of you have not completely agreed on a number, but you should be aware of that number. Because some people can range from wanting to have about 6 kids versus having none at all. And you would need to know that before you commit to this person indefinitely. So, how many kids are you going to have? How you want to raise your kids? What type of schooling would you like to do? And things like that. And you have to have those type of conversations. And this may sound like a lot, and you don't have to have this all at once, but you need to have this type of dialogue, especially if you're getting very, very serious. So if you're engaged, these conversations need to happen. Remember, you are committing to this person for an extended period of time, so you need to have this conversation. Okay. And one of the most obvious things is the wedding, of course. You have to think about the wedding, and there's so much that goes into wedding, Okay, so where are you going to have the wedding? Who's paying for the wedding? Is it your parents, someone else's parents? Are you doing it yourselves? Who's going to pay for the reception, the catering, the attire, as well as I'm talking about the bridesmaid dress, the bridal dress, the suits, everything, the ring, things like that. You have to think about all those different things, as well as, do you actually even have the money to afford for these type of things? When are you going to have this? Are you going to have it next year? Are you going to have it within 2 years? Do you have a specific date? Is it going to be in the summer? Is it going to be in the winter? You have to have these type of conversations. And a wedding is a huge investment. It is. It's a lot of work. Who are you going to invite? Are we going to invite these people? Are we going to exclude these people? Are these people going to sit next to each other? Who am I going to have to help me with this? Because you're definitely going to need some help. you need to sort of figure all of this out. And it sounds overwhelming, but this is the transition. This is the step that you're in when you're engaged. You have to think of these things. And it does sound like a lot. And that's why I do believe that you should sort of have a little bit of a team of people assisting you, people that you know are thinking of your best interests, as well as you trust. So you want to have those type of people helping you and being able to lighten your burden, because the wedding can be so overwhelming that it feels as if you don't even want to get married anymore. And you don't want to lose that. And you don't want to lose the essence of what it means. It's supposed to be a special time for you and your fiance to commit to each other as husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband. You want to have that moment to be special. So you need to sort of prepare yourself for all of that information. Okay? And last but not least, you have to love more. You have to express your love more to your fiance, because you guys are now heading down the road where it's just the two of you. So you need to express that love over and over. Your relationship now is far from casual. This is serious. So the second that one person proposed and the other one accepted is the second you got very, very serious about each other. So you need to express that love, because through all this stuff that you have to worry about, through all of it, the wedding, the money, the living, the children, the friends, the parents, all that stuff, can be stressful and overwhelming. So you need to have that insurance that your partner is still there for you. You know what I mean? And you do that by expressing that love in whatever way you do that. You need to let them know that you still love them, and you have to show them in multiple ways and with a high frequency. So it's very important to do that. But that's pretty much all I have to say on this subject. And I know that may be a lot for those of you who may be engaged, but I'm hoping that if you haven't thought of one of these things, that you are now thinking of it now. For those of you who are already married, I'm sure you're like saying yes, nay. Thank you for saying these things, because a lot of people really need to take it into account, because I know how much of a whirlwind it can actually be. I've seen it through my friends, and I've heard the craziest stories, and it's crazy. I just can't even imagine having to deal with it yet. And for those of you who are single, this is something that you have to make sure you sort of jot down for a later time, because especially if you value marriage, you know that these things are going to come into effect. So you just have to think about them. It's always best to be prepared. Okay, so that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, love, and remember to always start your day off with a hey. Goodbye.